There was once a fisherman who lived with his wife in a hovel close by the seaside. The fisherman used to go out all day long fishing, and one day he pulled out a great fish. But the fish said, "Let me live. I'm not a real fish. I am an enchanted prince. Put me in the water again and let me go." "Oh," said the man, "say no more. I don't want anything to do with a fish that can talk, so back you go." The fisherman put him back into the water, and the fish swam away. When the fisherman went home to his wife in the hovel, he told her that he'd caught a great fish and it had told him it was an enchanted prince and that he had let it go. "Didn't you ask for anything?" said the wife. "We live very wretchedly here in this nasty, dirty hovel. Go back and tell the fish we want a snug little cottage." The fisherman was not so sure, but he went to the seashore and stood at the water's edge and called to the fish. The fish came swimming to him and said, "What is it? What can I do for you?" "Ah," said the fisherman, "my wife says that when I caught you, I ought to have asked you for something. She does not like living in a hovel and wants a snug little cottage." "Go home then," said the fish. "She is in the cottage already." So the man went home and saw his wife standing at a nice little cottage. Come in," she said. "Is not this much better than that filthy hovel we had?" There were many rooms inside, and behind the cottage there was a little garden planted with all sorts of flowers and fruits, and there was a courtyard full of ducks and chickens. "How happily we will live now," said the fisherman. "We will try to do so at least," said his wife. Everything went right for a week or two, and then his wife said, "Husband, there is not near room enough for us in this cottage. The courtyard and the garden are a great deal too small. I should like to have a large stone castle to live in. Go to the fish again and tell him to give us a castle." "Wife," said the fisherman, "I don't like to go to him again. We ought to be happy with this pretty little cottage to live in." "Nonsense," said his wife. "He will do it very willingly, I know. Go along and try." So the fisherman went, but his heart was very heavy. He stood close to the sea and called the fish. The fish came swimming to him and said, "What is it? What can I do for you?" "My wife wants to live in a stone castle," said the fisherman. "Go home then," said the fish. "She is standing at the gate of it already." So away went the fisherman and found his wife standing at the gate of a great castle. "See," she said, "isn't this grand?" With that they went into the castle together and found a great many servants there, and the rooms were all richly furnished. Behind the castle was a garden, and around it was a park full of sheep and goats and rabbits and deer, and in the courtyard were stables and barns. "Well," said the fisherman, "now we will live cheerful and happy in this beautiful castle for the rest of our lives." "Perhaps we may," said the wife, "but let us sleep upon it before we make up our minds about that." So they went to bed. The next morning when his wife woke up, it was broad daylight, and she poked the fisherman with her elbow and said, "Wake up, husband, we must also have all the land that we can see from our castle." "Wife," said the man, "why should we want that? For that you must be a king." "I do not want to be a king." "Then I will be king," she said. "But wife," said the fisherman, "how can you be king? The fish cannot make you a king." "Husband," she said, "say no more about it, but go to the fish. I say I will be king." So the fisherman went away and called the fish again. The fish came swimming to him and said, "What is it? What can I do for you?" "Alas," said the fisherman, "my wife wants to be king." "Go home," said the fish. "She is king already." The fisherman went home, and as he came close to the castle, he saw a troop of knights and heard the sound of drums and trumpets. When he went in, he saw his wife sitting on a throne of gold and diamonds with a golden crown on her head. "Well," said the fisherman, "are you king?" "Yes," said she, "I am king." And he said, "What a fine thing it is to be king! Now we shall never have anything more to wish for as long as we live." "Never is a long time," she said. "I am king, it is true, but I begin to be tired of that. I want to rule more than just the land that I can see. I want to rule the whole world. I think I should like to be emperor." "But, my dear, why should you wish to be emperor?" said the fisherman. "Husband," she said, "go to the fish. I say I will be emperor." And her husband said, The fish cannot make an emperor, I am sure, and I should not like to ask him for such a thing." "I am king," said his wife. "You will do as I say, so go at once." So the fisherman was forced to go, and he soon came to the seashore and called the fish. The fish came swimming to him and said, "What is it? What can I do for you?" "My wife wants to be emperor." "Go home," said the fish. "She is emperor already." So he went home again, and as he came near, he saw where the castle once stood, a mighty palace with spires that nearly touched the sky. Inside, his wife was sitting in a vast hall on a very lofty throne made of solid gold, with a great crown on her head a full 2 yards high. The fisherman went up to her and said, "Wife, are you emperor?" "Yes, I am emperor." "Ah," said the fisherman as he gazed upon her, "what a fine thing it is to be emperor, and now you must be happy, for you can be nothing greater." "I will think about that," said the wife. That night they went to bed, but she could not sleep all night for thinking what she should be next. At last, as she was finally falling asleep, morning broke and the sun rose. She thought as she woke up and looked at the sun through the window. "I'm tired, and I've only just fallen asleep. I wish I could prevent the sun from rising. How much happier I would be if I could control the sun." "But wife," said the fisherman as he woke up, "can't you be happy being emperor?" "No," she said. "I am very unhappy as long as the sun and even the moon can rise without my permission." At this thought she became very angry and shook her husband awake and said, "Husband, go to the fish and tell him I must control the sun and the moon." The thought frightened the fisherman. "But to control the sun and the moon, you must be just like God," he gasped. "Yes, that's it," said his wife. "Go to the fish at once and tell him that I must be just like God." Then the man went shivering with fear, and as he was going down to the shore, a dreadful storm arose, and great waves rose upon the sea. The fisherman crept forward and called the fish. The fish came swimming to him and said, "What is it? What can I do for you?" "My wife wants to control the sun and the moon," said the fisherman. "She wants to be just like God." "Go home," said the fish. "She is just like God already. She is waiting for you in your hovel." So he went home to his wife in their hovel, and there they lived to this very day.